This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons, and of course Michael, sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. You still want to listen? Go right ahead. I am not your mother.
Welcome to week 15, episode 15 of the Patriots Dynasty podcast. Going back, and we're still in the 2001 season, getting towards the end of the regular season. Boys, how you feeling?
Good. It's been a marathon.
Yeah, you still with me so far?
Well, every so often, sure.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Mike Morso has been here pretty much every week.
Yeah, I don't think me and Greg have both been on one for like 5 weeks.
Fuck, I think you're right, yeah. It has been a while. No, we had one a couple weeks ago, didn't we? I don't know.
Just trying to hold down the fort here.
Yeah. Yeah, what would we do without you, Mike?
I mean, you've done it a couple of times already, so
yeah,
I think you'll be just fine.
You have to resort to Connor.
Oh, Jesus. Don't let him hear you say that.
That's true. Now you've gone and done it.
Yeah. Stevie hates you already, so
That's fine.
just gonna keep poking that bear.
I mean,
I don't know.
you know me, Andy. It's
What?
like one of my favorite pastimes is poking bears.
Should he try to maybe butter you up a little bit?
Oh,
That might
I
work
do take
better.
flattery and bribery.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Steve does have a history of like his pastime being angering people for fun and theoretically profit, but I don't think you actually make any money off of it, do you?
Well, unless Connor wants to pay me like $10,000 for the spot.
Oh, wow.
It's on
Connor,
the record now.
The offer's there.
Yeah, we'll have to
I'm
see
interested.
what his response is. I'm
Yeah.
also interested. All right, well, that's quite a start. In fact, if you want to pay any of us $10,000, any one of you out there can have a spot on this podcast. We're not too proud, and
I'll give it up for an episode for sure.
Oh yeah, just for one episode, you're $10,000 an episode.
Oh wait, 10 grand for the entire thing? Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
We're worth more than that, baby.
Oh, okay.
I mean, so at least someone's got to make money on this podcast.
This has been a roller coaster so far for me. We're all over the map. Good lord.
How has it been, wrangling this whole thing and putting it together? I mean, you do a little bit more work than the rest of us, I guess. So
It's been a lot, but it's fine. I just don't eat lunch at work anymore. I sit there and I read the Boston Globe archives instead.
well, that shows commitment because my sources tell me that Greg didn't show up today because he is eating right now.
He's eating right now.
Yeah, so I don't think he could make the podcast.
Oh, that's important. Yeah, I can see how you would skip something like this for eating.
Right. But you game plan ahead of time, so that props to you.
Yeah, I do tend to eat before we record this Thursday nights at 8 p.m.
Right. Makes
I mean,
sense.
eating at 8 p.m. for me is too late anyway, so I don't know what his problem is. But, I mean, to be fair, he didn't pull the Steve Brown and just leave halfway through to start making dinner, so.
Hey, that was one time.
I didn't make that
comment,
one
Steve?
to the bar.
All right. Well, in that case, changes the whole thing. All right. Well. Speaking of drinking, let's get into this football game.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So this is actually one that I was excited, like going into it, looking forward to it, because this was the Dolphins coming to visit Foxborough Stadium. The last regular season game, regardless, at Foxborough Stadium, and they had a whole shindig around it, which we'll get into. But the Dolphins, who had beat the piss out of the Patriots earlier in the season, I believe that was just a me and Mike game. Is that right, Mike?
It's all a blur at this point.
A long time ago. I think it was just you and me on that one. And I believe at the end of it, we said it was a game that we would be fine never watching again.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
it fondly.
Yeah. All I can really remember is Brady fumbling the ball and having it kicked back in the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown, and Troy Brown fumbling the punt because it was the only mistake he's made this season.
Yep.
But this game would be different.
Yeah, they were the ones who were fumbling kicks.
That's true. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on. But just to kind of recap, like we did before, I've already talked about the Dolphins a bit, but we'll go over it again. This was the game for the AFC, the lead in the AFC East. And of course, Patriots, we're not spoiling anything, saying that they win this game because everybody knows at this point how this goes. But the Dolphins would actually finish 11-5 and also still make the playoffs, along with the Jets from the AFC East. So all three of those guys will make the playoffs this year. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, the Patriots also beat the Jets, so they were kind of sitting pretty in the driver's seat at this point, and there was a whole bunch of talk about playoff predictions and all this stuff.
And they won 4 straight at this point.
I believe this is win number 4 in a row to just about finish out the season. The Dolphins, like we said, make the playoffs, but they lose in the wild card to the Ravens because they obviously don't win the division. They lost this game, and that puts them a game behind. Head coach was Dave Wanstead, we talked about, the man, the myth, the mustache. Let's see. He actually played the Patriots tough. Again, let's just recap. He went 4-5 against New England, but he actually lost the last 4 of those games. So he started off strong and faded down the stretch, just like these Dolphins did.
I wonder, I know he had a terrible season the year after this, but I wonder why he never really had another shot again, because his record wasn't too bad overall.
It's true, yeah. He was this year and the year before, he was both 11-5, and they made the playoffs, and then 9-7 and 10-6 the 2 years after that, which is still pretty good, I think.
All right, yeah, so he did better than I thought.
Yeah, but then in 2004, he started off 1-8 before he got fired, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's what it was.
And I think he went to college. He was coaching Pitt, I think, yeah. I don't know if he was the coach at the time that Dion Lewis was there, but I know Dion Lewis was from Pitt. I'm not sure if they overlapped or not. But if they did, juicy fact. Stat check. We don't. Our stat guy's not in today.
Disregard
motherfucker. God damn it! All right. Quarterback was Jay Fiedler. Fiedler on the roof that we talked about a few times because me and Mike talked about him during the game, and then we talked about him again in week, I want to say 6, when Gregory watched the wrong game and had a whole page of Jay Fiedler notes. Mike, I don't think you were there for that, but Jay Fiedler was voted, I can't remember the exact specifics, but he was the second best Jewish quarterback in the history of football.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Yeah. So is the first, I know Brigham Young, Steve Young, number 1?
No, actually.
I don't know if he's Jewish, but I know he went to Brigham.
It was Sid Luckman, I believe it was.
Ooh.
Right? Spicy.
Yeah.
So Greg had a whole bunch of Jewish facts around Jay Fiedler because apparently that's what he was known for, was being Jewish and being good at football, according to Greg.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was actually, I thought he was really good in this game, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I think he threw for like 300 yards and
didn't throw a pick.
Yeah, and was kind of the only thing that they had going for them on offense. And he finished the season pretty good. He had just over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, so kind of about the same. But I believe he actually outplayed Peyton Manning in this season, which is hard to say.
You know what I was looking
touchdown
at?
To interception ratio. What's
in
that?
terms of like these touchdown and interception ratios, I feel like, even though it's pretty jarring looking at this now, I feel like for that era, it was kind of the norm a little bit. Like, Bledsoe would have his picks, like all these guys that were pretty well known and at the top of the league had a ton. And then there's a drop off. So now it's kind of normal to see a guy throw 8 picks a year, right? Which used to be crazy. Why do you think that is? Is it because of the lax rules, or are people just getting better?
Yeah, I think the rules have definitely shifted to focus more on the offense, especially in the passing game, with the lack of contact that defensive backs can have nowadays, and how much things get negated by penalty and all that sort of stuff, especially in like defensive holding penalties and pass interference and all that. So that focus, I think, has skewed the interception numbers, but I also think that offenses have gotten more creative with the short passing game is what it seems like to me. So they're throwing. I mean, just look at Drew Brees and his 70-something% completion percentage every year now. And he's throwing these really accurate short passing games that kind of Brady and the Patriots offense it felt like they started.
Yeah.
I suppose you could probably go back to like the Joe Montana West Coast offense days as well a little bit. But I think with all these like wide receiver bubble screens and those quick short passes that almost replaced the running game, the Patriots kind of took to heart and ran with. But going back to your point, Mike, Brady, even in this year, the guy who you don't think of as throwing interceptions was 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions on the season.
Right.
So he was almost like 1-to-1 as well. And this was considered a good year for a quarterback the way he played.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I was just looking at that. And I mean, you have like a guy like Goff who's like putting up crazy numbers, and people nowadays are like, I don't know if he's like that great of a quarterback or whatever. So it is interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think that even that season, when the Rams went to the Super Bowl, that Rams offense, I think was like a top 10 scoring offense of all time, like in the history of the NFL. And people still like, I don't know if Goff's that good. Yeah.
Right.
Because both the Chiefs and the Rams were both top 10 all-time offenses that season, which is why they played that game against each other. And it was what, like 54, 53 or something?
Yeah. That game was crazy.
It was nuts.
I will say though that Breeze, you got to give him props though, because I know he's doing the short game, but I mean he'll throw the long ones in here and there still. And I think he's done 4 years in a row of over 70%. I was reading, so
it's something like that. Yeah, something out of control. Where for comparison, Drew Bledsoe's completion percentage in 2001 was 63.9%.
That's actually higher than I thought.
I know, yeah. Drew Bledsoe's, for comparison, was 60.6.
All right.
But the one passer on here who had the highest passer rating, which I think will actually segue well into what we can talk about next, is Kevin Falk. 100% completion percentage. 1 for 1 for 23 yards. Let's talk about his passer rating, if you will. Because I think this was you could probably say that even though it was early, it was the kind of turning point of the game, it felt like to me. What did you think, Steve?
For sure. I mean, was it not the same play as in the Philly Super Bowl we lost?
It looked like it to the opposite side of the field, and that, spoiler alert, might be the worst part of this game for me.
Really?
It reminded me of what Steve is talking about.
It brought back memories. Yeah, because I actually had a similar feeling because I saw it. So we'll just set it up for those who haven't actually seen it. But it was kind of actually part of it was the direct snap to Kevin Falk that we've seen more than I remember this season, especially.
That's a statement.
Yeah, in this season, it really is. I mean, you see them pull it out like even in the Falcons Super Bowl. Yeah, this is the last one I can remember. The direct snap to the running back out of the shotgun. But in this case, it was that
pirouette by Brady in the air to sell it.
Exactly. Yeah, Brady will jump like the ball went over his head, and it doesn't fool anybody. So he did that, and Kevin Falk got the ball and started like running a sweep to his right, and then stopped and threw it back to Brady on the left side of the field, wide open. And I have a quote what Brady said about this play. Where is it? It was Tom Brady on the play. He was wide fucking open. He had the whole half of the field to himself. And his quote was, "I turned a touchdown into a 23-yard gain." Which is so Tom Brady.
It was a pretty tough catch, though.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the only time that play has ever worked. It's the only time Tom Brady's caught that ball.
Well, what's his career numbers and catches?
Wait a minute. Didn't Troy Brown toss him one as well? Also potentially against the Dolphins, or I might be mixing two games up.
I can't remember another Tom Brady catch.
So I'm saying I can remember a couple where he's missed them.
But I don't even remember this one before I watched this game. So
let's see. He has 2 other catches.
Yeah, I think one of them was from Troy Brown, if I'm not mistaken.
You might be mistaken because
All right, whatever. Never mind.
he got
Scratch it.
one catch in 2015 and one in 2018.
Yeah, it was the 2018 one, I'm pretty sure.
The one in 2015 was for 36 yards. I don't remember this play at all. It doesn't say who it was by, but 36 yards, that's his longest. That's not bad. So, yeah, he has completed twice, but I remember more recently against Tennessee that he hurt his knee on and wasn't the same the rest of the season.
Yep.
It was that game. You were at that game, Steve, right? You and Greg?
Yep.
Yep, that sucked.
I was like, Greg, it's like fourth quarter. There's like 3 minutes left. Let's just go. And he's like, no, yeah, just sit here and take your lickings.
Real fans don't leave till the game's over regardless.
Uh-huh.
That's fair. I get it.
Yep.
So, but this one actually did work, and it was last drive of the first quarter.
Up 7-0.
They hadn't actually scored yet. No, this was
Setting it
the
up.
one that this set it up.
Right.
And then Antoine Smith ran it in the first play of the second quarter.
With Richard Seymour as the fullback.
That's right. Yes, Richard Seymour leading the way. But yeah, the second quarter was really all that was where all the action happened. I thought because you had that touchdown that started literally the first play of the drive, and then the Patriots went on to score a couple more touchdowns. One was Brady hitting his backup fullback Patrick pass for the touchdown, which there was a quote by the commentators. Did either of you catch it?
Is it a football or not football?
No, I don't think so. So therefore, Mike didn't catch it. I got it.
Right. Although I will say Greg Gumbo and Phil Simms on this one. So I think we're kind of making a jump in, what is it, popularity?
Yeah, moving on up in the ladder of competent commentation.
Commentation, that is a real word.
Yeah, but I don't know who it was that said it because I don't give a fuck. But they basically said Patrick pass, more like Patrick catch.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Who, this might be completely off base here, but I'm remembering one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen in my life. It was a hamstring issue. Running back drops the ball, and Patriots fumble it away. Was that a Patrick pass moment?
I think that was Ridley, wasn't it?
Was it really?
Against the Bills.
I don't remember.
I think so.
He was like running with the ball and like strained his hamstring and just dropped the ball. And
just dropped it. Instead of just going to the ground, he just drops the ball.
I don't know. We might be thinking about different. Was it against the Bills?
I think it might have been. Ridley also.
Like a run up the middle.
I'm going to look this up.
I want to say it was Ridley.
If that's why Patrick pass stuck out of my mind. So if that's wrong.
Oh, all right, maybe.
Good for him.
Literally the only Patrick pass highlight I remember is this specific touchdown.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know why, but every time I hear Patrick pass, this is the play that comes to mind. I don't know why this stuck out of my mind.
It definitely is Patrick pass pulling a hammy.
Is it really?
Yeah, 2005.
Oh, shit. You're going to have to post that in chat so we can all watch it and comment on it.
Yeah, so when we get to that game, we'll revisit this.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Something to look forward to. Is that who I think it is?
Hello.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
Did you have your nice little meal? Are you feeling better now?
You got a nice full tummy?
Yeah, my tummy's I had a nice shrimp gumbo. It was delicious, Mike. You'd be proud of me.
Did you make it yourself?
I sure did.
Wow.
Dude, you've turned into a fine young man. I'm always proud of you.
A fine young woman.
Hey.
He wasn't saying that about you when you weren't here.
What?
You tracking me, Mike?
I don't remember what I said. I'm going to have to just plead the fifth on this one. I apologize if I said anything.
We can play the tape if you want, Craig. I'm sure we can get it back for you.
Look, everything's a blur, Greg. It's all for fun. It's all for
Mike
fun.
just blacks out as soon as he logs into this.
It's a freaking condition, dude.
You're a condition.
He starts bringing up how he grew up in Lawrence and tough guy shit.
Tough guy shit. Lawrence, Massachusetts, man. All right, it ain't you know.
Salem, New Hampshire.
Town, okay, I'm not putting down Salem, New Hampshire either. I'm just saying.
That's what
Lawrence
I'm saying.
A whole new ball game. All right,
Salem's nice.
and I made it out of that town. And my parents are Portuguese, bro. So I mean, it was a lot.
So tough.
Jesus. So tough.
You're giving me flashbacks here.
Oh, do share. Give us your favorite Lawrence moment.
My favorite Lawrence moment.
Or your most memorable.
I would say I learned how to break out / sneak out because babysitter would lock us on the porch to keep us contained. And because she was really good at what she was doing. And at 8 years old, I learned how to I came up with this way to get off of the porch and kind of just do my thing on my own. And she wouldn't check on us for like 5 hours. So every day I would kind of sneak out of the apartment, and I taught my sister and cousins how to do this. And we just kind of frolic at 8 years old through the streets of Lawrence.
Just raising.
What was that?
Man.
You're just raising hell.
I don't know. I mean, we learned a lot, but I don't know if I did much of the hell raising myself. But it was good times. You know, it was fond memories, and you know, she's the best. She's still with us, by the way. So.
Who, your sister or the babysitter?
The babysitter.
Oh, okay. Good, I guess.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. Is she still babysitting?
She's not. I did see her recently. She went back to Portugal.
Okay.
And she's doing fine. She had a little bit of a problem with the drink when she took care of us as well.
Okay.
I think that's gotten better. So good for her. You know, I'm proud of her.
All right.
Proud of a lot of people today.
You are, aren't you? just sharing that pride. I love it.
When was the first time you broke out of your house, Andy?
Just now tonight. I'm recording this. This is some pirate radio shit. I'm recording it in the passenger seat of my car.
Oh shit! That's why you sound so good.
I know. It's the acoustics in here. They're great.
Anybody else have a sneaking out story?
No, mom just let us do whatever we want.
I know your mom's pretty cool. So
yeah, sure. You do whatever you want.
I got one. With,
let's hear it.
With the house we grew up in had a loft bedroom, so it's like climb up a little ladder. And like in the loft, there was like a little attic space. You pull off the door and you can get to like the water heater and all that crap. And of course, we just smoked weed in there because it was perfect. You know, we set up.
Yeah, and you like blow the ash into the insulation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Perfect because
it's healthy.
You're good. But then they had to go up there to check on something at one point. They had like a contractor there, and they like climb up and they can open the door to it. And like there's like a lawn chair and a bean bag and stuff.
Oh wow.
Fucking opium den.
She was pissed about the lawn chair because it was her favorite one.
Well, I was gonna say, what was she like? She seems like she would be kind of like understanding of the whole situation.
Yeah. Well, and I was the youngest of the four, so by that time she had given up on like raising us.
Giving up all hope on Greg.
Yeah.
Explains a lot, really.
Yep.
When I came back freshman year of college for like winter break, we were smoking up there, and Mama, like, we were like, I don't know, we were just being real idiots. Thought like, yeah, no one will be able to hear us or smell this blunt. It was smoking in the loft, and my mom was like, it's right above her bedroom, so she's like, "Fuck, are you doing up there?" Oh man.
I remember.
Come down.
He goes, "What are you doing up there?" We were like, "Nothing." She goes, "What are you doing?"
Has she ever done there? Has she ever
with Corey?
I was, yeah.
Has she ever done that herself, do you think?
No.
No.
Wow.
What, smoked up in the loft? No.
No, smoked up in general.
Not
Before
really.
kids, I think. Probably.
Yeah, she said when she was a teenager.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a bit of a wild child, I guess.
Hey.
So we've been told. We'll find out from her when we eventually have her on the podcast. I'm not going to put words in Mama Brown's mouth.
That's fair.
No, Brown. It's a different animal.
I was going to say, speaking of high, let's talk about some of these kickoffs in the second quarter.
Well, I
Well, yeah,
really want to see what Mike has to say about the punting.
Well, I thought that Miami's punting was atrocious.
So bad.
Oh, so bad. I mean, I think one of them traveled like 10 or 15 yards.
I think it was 16
Oh, okay, 16.
on the stat sheet. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, pretty rough.
Yeah, I
and-
have it here. Miami drove to the 50 and punted from the 50, and the Pats started at their own 34.
Yeah, no, it was not pretty. The whole kicking game was interesting though, because I was writing.
It was.
I mean, the first one, Vinatieri kicks into the end zone, and I commented, I wrote like a note that like that was insane because we haven't seen that all year. That it actually bounced into the end zone, but then they all started to kind of land. Every kickoff was landing at the 30 or 40, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" But I started picking up on, and I think the announcers touched on this a little bit, that I think they were using the sun to their advantage to kind of create issues.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was the sun or if it was like a wind issue too, because it did seem
So you
every
don't think it
time
was
they were.
intentional?
I think the kickoffs were. I don't think the 16-yard punt was.
Right. That was terrible.
But it felt like every time they were kicking from right to left is when the Patriots were doing the short kickoffs and the punts were failing. Because it was the Dolphins punting in the first quarter when they were going that direction is when the two bad punts were. And then as soon as the Patriots scored was in the second quarter, and that's when they started doing the kickoffs, which we hadn't, we've only ever seen the first one. But yeah, they were doing these like you said, really high kickoffs that would land at the Jets or the Dolphins like 30, 35 yard line. And one of those, I think you might be right that maybe the sun did play into it because you could tell that the guys were having trouble fielding it. Because one, they're supposed to be blocking anyway, so they're not used to fielding kicks. But then two, it also looked like they were struggling with either the wind or the sun. It was hard to tell.
So is it one of those things where I'm viewing it as like, oh, Belichick is a genius. Of course he came up with this. And you're maybe bringing to the table that it was coincidental, perhaps.
Yeah, windy.
I think it might be a bit of both. I think the Patriots are playing at home. Hey, shut the fuck up. You showed up late.
Indians. Oh, dude, you're sitting at the sun, and then you should catch the ball. It was fucking windy.
Wait, you're going in and out. I don't know if everybody else is hearing this, but
Yeah, your audio sucks. And you put words in my mouth that I wasn't actually going to say. So how about you let me say it?
Now you're talking about letting people talk, Andy?
Well, if you shut up on time, I'll let you talk.
Do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yo, time out. Wait,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Greg, your audio sucks.
what about now?
Yeah. It's better.
Is it better now?
yeah.
All right, back to what I was saying. Andy, you're an idiot.
All right, Connor.
But go ahead.
So this is the Patriots' home field. I'm sure they've practiced on this. I'm sure they know what happens on windy days. So I'm not saying they're purposely trying to get these kicks to land on a specific guy who's known for not catching it or some bullshit like that. But I'm pretty sure that they had something in place where if you're kicking into this end zone and the wind's blowing, and we've seen punts failing that they had been in the first quarter, instead of trying to boot it into the end zone, letting the guy get a run up at it and catching it at the 25, just kick it straight up and like basically pooch it so they can't return it for a touchdown and make a forward guy catch it instead.
I disagree.
I don't care.
I'm on
All right,
it.
what are your Andy? Let him
Lost the sun.
let him say it.
Yeah,
What's
go ahead.
on your mind, Greg?
You want to hear my rebuttal?
Yeah.
there was a 14-mile-an-hour wind, and it was windy. That's
I mean,
it.
it's not that strong.
Right, but yeah, I think,
That's all you got, Greg?
This is a whole podcast where anything that happens, Belichick is a genius. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's just windy. That's all.
you know what?
I feel it.
I was thinking that, he did orchestrate it, but my role is definitely to play the devil's advocate in my thinking here. And you know what? Belichick's not a genius. I give it to Greg.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
See, if Mike's agreeing with me, if Mike's agreeing with you, you've done something wrong.
Well, he brings up a good point. It was the wind, dude. 14-mile-an-hour wind.
I know it was the wind.
Then why did you bring it
for that
up?
part. I did.
No,
I
you
was the
didn't.
first one to
I didn't
bring it
hear
up.
I didn't hear it.
I was literally the first one to bring up the wind.
Nope. I think he's right.
What do you think?
I think Belichick did intentionally saw the first couple punts get caught up.
Yeah.
And I remember looking, they were showing Romeo Corneller, Charlie Weiss, and they were blocking out the sun. And they really
Well,
didn't really see on that morning.
All right. Sorry, Greg. I can't do it. I think he did it on purpose.
well, then Matt Turk was doing it on purpose too.
Ooh.
No, Matt Turk
Well,
just sucked.
I have heard that Matt Turk has been described as a genius by some folks in the league.
Yeah.
Fixes
Some people are saying.
Yeah, some people. I've heard people talk about Matt Turk.
Yeah.
That's his name?
Nailed it.
He's got to fix that helmet situation though. He already looks like a dork, and then he's got that stupid downward angled face mask.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the first Dolphins game. I think it was just me and Mike though, where the top of the face mask kind of does that little loop up too, so he just always looks surprised. But it's just because of his face mask.
Yeah.
He looks like a dog that's surprised. He's got where his eyebrows are all bunched up at the top, but it's his helmet.
Yeah, I hate when kickers do that. You already look like an idiot. You're a kicker. Just wear a regular helmet.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I kind of wish kickers would wear linebacker helmets. You know what I mean?
That would be
with a shield, a black duck.
How intimidating would that be? Because you look at the guy and be like, yeah, this guy never misses.
Yeah.
Ice cold.
Yeah, I agree.
I just love the kickers that look jacked. I mean, there's one in every 10 years where there's one that pops up.
Yeah, that's true. It's usually a punter, though, I feel like.
Oh, that could be it. Although Janikowski was pretty big.
Yeah,
he was more hefty than anything, though.
All right, that's true.
Was a kicker this year at the combine that was had the most reps on the
on the bench press, yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah.
did 25 or something ridiculous. Yeah, and didn't he run some crazy 40 as well, I thought?
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, that's what
I'd love to see him as a linebacker and a kicker.
Like Vinatieri?
Position player.
Yeah, exactly. You save a spot for something else and you put him on the field all the time.
That's not bad. I'm surprised there aren't more hybrid kicker punters, though.
I thought the same.
Have one guy do both jobs. Is it that different of a skill set? I imagine it probably is.
Pat McAfee would like a word.
I know. Well, yeah, I'm curious. As somebody who's kicked balls a lot in my life, I can understand that they're different skill sets, but are they that different where you can't do both?
I mean, I always think it's funny when they have the kicker and the punter, but then the punter or a third kicker is doing kickoffs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Patriots had started to do that, didn't they? They had Ryan Allen kicking off or something like that in certain games a couple years ago.
Maybe a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was
That's
their
always-
punter. They had their punter doing the kickoffs.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Which you've
I
seen
got
every once in a while.
question for the group. So, obviously, some people say it's the easiest job in football is being the punter or kicker. What would your preference be as far as longevity, money, how people respect you? What position on a football team?
Out of
Backup
those
quarterback.
two, or all of them?
Any position.
Oh, backup quarterback for sure.
Andy, exactly.
You're the most popular guy if the starter doesn't do anything, if the starter's not playing well, because you're the one that everybody wants to put in because it's a change of pace. You don't actually have to do anything. You just stand there and hold a fucking clipboard, and you're getting paid quarterback money instead of like punter money. So even as a backup, you're getting paid more than the starting kicker, right?
They can't hit in practice.
Yeah,
True.
you get the red shirt.
And if you actually do get into the game and you suck, they don't expect anything from you anyway.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, he's the backup. Fuck it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick's made a career of it.
That's true. Well, he actually starts a bunch of games. Who was it that was it Chase McDaniels or someone like that? Who had made some ungodly amount of money. He made like $100 million as a career backup. Was
it him?
It was someone like that.
Dude, there's a bunch of these guys though, like Matt Leinart, for instance. That guy's still, he was still playing until fairly recently. Is he still playing, Matt Leinart?
Stat check.
I don't know, but that guy's made bank, all right, and he never really did anything.
Yeah. Long snapper is a close second, though.
Yeah, but that's a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah, I'd rather be a punter because that's less pressure.
Feels like it's just like a muscle memory thing that you can nail every time.
Dude, how come you have you guys seen like the trick guys like on YouTube?
Yeah.
Like, how come those guys don't ever make a team? I know that they get tryouts, but how come they never get signed?
They suck at kicking.
Yeah, because they're not very good at the actual kicking because they spend too much time practicing the.
But what about like that dude that was like booming like 60-yard field goals like one after another? Like, does that guy ever get a shot?
Pats tried him out.
Yeah, I think they did actually. They tried him out this year, yeah, and apparently didn't impress.
Year we had was getting hurt.
Yeah.
Oh damn! All right. I mean, do most kickers just come up through like school and that's it? That's the farm system? Because like even a couple of kickers that I guess are entering this draft, their percentages are not that great. So how can you tell that that's going to translate into the NFL with like,
I'm not quite sure how that works, but I think kicking this year was lower overall anyway. So I don't know what the hell happened. But nobody could kick field goals this year. It seemed like.
Did
kicker camps where they have like camps where all these like high profile prospects go, and like how you perform at that like affects your draft status more than like
all right,
no kidding,
that would make sense.
Yeah
How do you guys feel about, I don't know if you guys have watched any of the XFL, but since we're talking about kickers, how do you I know that they're trying to be a little bit more tame this time around, but they obviously change up a lot of things. What do you think about the NFL trying out some of the stuff that they're doing, if you guys are familiar?
So I've only caught bits and pieces. I know that the kickoffs are different.
Right.
And that seems, I could take it or leave it. It's not a big enough difference that it makes...
I mean, it seems like less people would get hurt, but it also seems like there'd be an opportunity for a big play.
It also seems like there's less opportunity for a big play, though, from the feel of it.
You think so? Because once they cross the threshold, it's pretty much a wide open field.
Yeah, that's true, but nobody ever seems to.
I know. I haven't seen it yet, but...
I think it happened once, and it was on a trick play.
Oh, all right.
But I think the extra point thing is interesting.
Yeah.
No more kicking an extra point. You either get 1 point, which is like a play from the 2-yard line, 2 points is a 5-yard line, and 3 points is a play from the 10, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That's more interesting to me.
Yeah. I just wonder. I'm curious, like, what that's going to do to the like scores. Like, is it going to make it a closer game because you could always like throw up a Hail Mary with like a 3, or is it going to be that it's going to be out of hand, more blowouts?
Probably the closer game, because I feel like coaches still aren't going to go for 3 every time. If you're scoring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it's hard to score from the 10, but it gives you more of a chance to actually crawl back in if you do start hitting those 3-point conversions.
I was wondering though, like 1 point is from the, like you're saying, the 2, and then 2 points is like from the 4. I mean, is there that much of a difference? I guess like it kind of cuts out running plays on the 4.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much difference, and I'm surprised more coaches don't go for it. Just go for 2 regardless in that situation.
Yeah, I thought the same thing though. I thought like, I mean, I do think that bringing back kicks on extra points was a good idea. I think it kind of adds a little more drama. But yeah, I didn't mind that system. And same thing with like overtime rules. I mean, I know that there's, overtime in the NFL, I think is way better than it was around the 2001 season. So I think it's a lot better now where everyone at least gets a shot potentially. But what do you think about the sort of college football XFL style?
Is the XFL the same as college football? I don't actually know what they're overtime.
It's almost like that. It's like I think everyone gets 5 possessions to try to score from like whatever yard line. And then it's kind of like a shootout type of format where if it's tied, then they just go into sudden death.
Oh, I see. I mean, I think they all end up in sudden death anyway, eventually. So it's at the end of the day, how much different is it really?
I think it's more about like drama and excitement and also like not hurting people. Because like, you don't want to play another 15 minutes if everyone's exhausted, I guess.
I guess. I mean, yeah, either way is fine by me, to be honest.
That's fair.
College football crushes NFL overtime.
Excuse me?
In terms of excitement?
Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have a question.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Why is there not more female kickers in the NFL?
You tell
Are
us.
you get us in trouble here?
No, I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's a good point, Andy. What do you? Why do you think that?
Leg
Well,
strength,
I think
maybe?
Generally, right? If we look at how the game has evolved over the last 20 years or so, Kelly, you'll understand that when you need to kick a football, you need a lot of muscle in your leg. And, with just the natural advantages that men have over women in both like bigger brains and bigger muscles, it really makes it so that they're better kickers.
I'm a little surprised you got through that as far as you did without laughing.
But for real, I was thinking this when you guys were talking about the difference. Like, the game has evolved a ton. Like, the TD-INTs ratio is a good example, but kicking really hasn't. I bet if you look at, like, percentages of, like, made kicks in this season versus the last season, like, across the whole NFL, it's probably pretty similar. Like, why is the rest of the NFL advanced and come so far in the offensive side of things, and kicking is stagnated?
Kicking has gotten more accurate, actually, over the years. At least closer kicks have, but the misses are now from like over 45 yards instead of over 35 yards. You know what I mean?
Wait, but I'm still curious. What Kelly? Why do you think?
Because men are afraid that women will do a job better than them.
Ooh. Now I have a question though, because Carly Lloyd was bringing this up, right?
Yeah.
And she's amazing, great soccer player. But she was potentially going to be given the opportunity to try out, and then she declined. She said she'd think about it, then she kind of waffled, and then she kind of said that she didn't think that she should do it. So she's the biggest proponent right now for female kickers. So what do you think about her response?
I don't agree with it, because if you're going to come out and say all that stuff, and you got to follow through.
I agree.
But
Typical woman.
no.
Whoa, hey.
Hit him.
Right now.
You should just kick him right now.
Yes.
Show them what female kickers can do.
Yes. I think I need to know more about the story, because if she's saying, maybe not because she wants to keep playing soccer and stay there, then okay. But
she said that she thinks that women can kick as well as men, but that the physical nature of getting hit by a guy of that weight and speed might not be the greatest thing. That's loosely translated, but that's what she was getting at.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Right.
But
Now, here's the more interesting question, I think. Why aren't there female coaches?
isn't there one?
There is now.
Well, there is now, but I mean, like a head coach, like it's taken what, 100 years to get to this point?
Well, it's systematic sexism, isn't it?
I think so.
brain.
Because they weren't allowed to be coaches growing up, so they didn't have the opportunities. So you're not seeing any. Similar to
Right.
a lot of like the tech field too. There's not a lot of
Right,
women
but I think that's
developers.
interesting because that takes out the physical element, and I don't
I
see any reason why
Well, it's
that can't be a
because-
possibility.
in school growing up. They're kind of shepherded towards other things just by societal norms and things like that.
You're saying, Kelly?
No, don't you have to earn your right to get to a head coach? So you're kind of
You
behind.
do, but that's what I mean. It's like I'm surprised that it took this long for women to have the opportunity to even climb the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised.
What was that?
I'm not surprised. It's a man-run world. Come on.
Yeah. A white man
Yeah, I
run
guess.
world.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, how many non-white males are there coaching in the NFL?
Well, I also think like the Rooney Rule is like a joke because the fact that they have to even instill a rule that minority coaches have to interview is ridiculous. Like that shouldn't even have to be a thought. It should be whoever's the best can get the job, right?
Right.
Well, I think they should make a Rooney Rule for women. Like
A Mooney rule?
A Mooney rule. Kelly, we got there at the same time.
I like
you
it.
have to interview at least one woman for every head coaching job.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Have fun, guys.
All right, thanks. Good talking.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So speaking of kicks, do you want to talk about this kickoff in the second quarter of the Patriots Dolphins game?
Oh man, this is an interesting episode.
It sure is. So what happened was we talked about it ad nauseum earlier, but the Patriots doing high short kickoffs. Dolphins struggled with the first one and actually fumbled the second one after the Patriots kicked the field goal. So they recover that kick and then drive down and kick another field goal. And now it's 20-3 at the half. Patriots.
Oh, genius move by Belichick.
You know what? If you want to start a Patriots Doubters podcast, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
But backtracking, if there is no Rooney Rule, do you think that you think that minority coaches get an opportunity, or is it just all whites all the time? That's crazy.
I mean, it's probably all whites all the time.
That sucks.
That's kind of what we do as a white male society.
As a Portuguese man, I don't know whether that follows in, but everybody should be given an opportunity, all right?
Yeah, are you considered white or are you
It's always been a gray area
non-white? Yeah.
for me in my life. It depends on the group that I'm hanging out in, I guess, and how they view me.
Mike,
Because I remember...
I got a rebuttal.
Yeah.
So the percentage of like black coaches or minority coaches in the NFL is like roughly, it's actually slightly more than the overall population in the United States.
You're talking like percentage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So wouldn't you say that they're accurately represented?
I don't know. I don't know the numbers or whatever. I just know that in the last maybe 10 years, minority coaches have been given opportunities. But before that, and that's partly probably because of the Rooney Rule, but before that, it was pretty much non-existent.
Yeah. And I think the counter argument is you have the players are a lot more diverse, and then
True.
the most popular coach isn't, which is kind of suspect. But there is
Same with the owners too.
There's certainly more white people in America than there are black people, so it kind of makes sense statistically that you'd have more qualified white coaches than.
Yeah, but then what about like all the owners are white? And I know that comes from money and like history and like where they came from and what opportunities they were given. But that's not like a good indication of the population.
Correct.
But
And
I mean, I guess you
Rooney
can't really.
Rule for buying a football team.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I guess you can't really boot owners.
That depends on how racist they are, I guess.
That's true.
Or if they make their employees show up in jeans on Fridays or whatever the hell it was.
Oh yeah.
What was his name? Jerry Richardson? The Panthers?
Wait, what?
They get the old owner of the Panthers. He was kind of like a sketchy old man, and a bunch of stories started to come out, so they made him sell the team.
It was
Oh,
mandatory Gene Fridays.
That's right, yeah. So they could look at the girls' butts or something like that.
what?
Yeah, I think that was like the stuff that started to
What
come
is
out.
going on?
They're like, "It's cool. It's cool. He's selling the team. He's selling the team. It's cool. We don't need any more of these stories." Yeah, typical NFL shit.
Wow.
He was like, "I'm buying the team," and sure enough, he didn't. Surprise! He not qualified to run an NFL team.
I remember we wrote a whole blog post about that, didn't you, Greg? About P. Diddy trying to get the money together to buy the Carolina Panthers. That would have made for some good television.
He didn't even he called them the North Carolina Panthers or something like that.
Yeah, he didn't even know they were. Whoops, not a great start.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, the Clippers owner? No, the Lakers owner? Who got...
Clippers, yeah.
Clippers, yeah. He was super racist.
Yeah.
Well, he's senile, too.
He was senile.
It's true. It's also super racist.
Yeah.
Also true. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I am anymore, but I'm going to start putting down American and Azorian in the other from now on.
Azorian, nice.
Yeah.
Not even Portuguese, just Azorian.
Well, I mean, my family's from the Azores. Nobody even knows where that is, so.
I do.
Danny does.
I know, right? And he's a great, great man.
I actually know a lot of Azorians.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
company, Mike, the one you interviewed at.
Oh yeah, the guy that interviewed me was Azorian. You're right.
Yeah. Half the damn place was.
Whoa! I didn't like how you. Whoa! What was that damn place? Was it about the place, or was it about the people in the place? I didn't like that, Greg.
They're all called Porta. How am I supposed to keep them apart?
Whoa! Hey, I don't like this at all, dude.
We're on some thin ice right now.
Holy crap! Let's talk about the game. I'm furious.
This is all Mike's fault, saying, "Oh, not to backtrack." But
I know. I thought it was going to be a 2-second joke.
I had pulled it back so well and everything, talking about kickers.
I know. I derailed it. I apologize.
Up in flames.
It's not the first time I've apologized. It's not going to be the last. I have a prepared statement.
Can we just do football or not football, Mike?
I got a few if you want to get to them.
Yes.
All right.
Should we talk about how the game ends before we do that?
All right, fine. It's whatever you want, Andy. It's off the rails today.
It sure is. All right, the Patriots won 20-13. The only reason it was that close was because the Dolphins scored a touchdown in garbage time at the end. It was under 2 minutes left.
All right, it was garbage time, but then it slowly became like not garbage time. It got very close at the end, I felt.
Yeah, Pats had a chance to put this game away, and they really didn't. The Dolphins hung around longer than that.
Pats, after the half, just started running clock. Like in the third quarter, just running clock.
Steve, did you watch it?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
I did when I got off the airplane today. Yep.
All right, so should we ask Greg if he watched it?
Oh, well, you want me to hit you with a quote?
Yeah, hit me with a quote from your binder of quotes.
When the guy said Patrick pass was Patrick catch on his touchdown.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
We did hit that.
Yeah. But that still proves my point that I watched it, right? Because there was no highlights on the YouTube machine. So,
yeah, this game didn't exist on the internet.
Exactly. So the only way I would have known that quote is if I actually clicked on the link and watched the whole game.
That's fair. Although
or if it was written about in the Boston Globe the day after.
No, I actually looked and it was like, ooh, the second quarter was all the touchdowns, so I watched the second quarter.
Hey, that's one way to do it.
But you missed the Brady play. The throwback.
Brady? Oh no, I saw that.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
Well, yeah, the end of the game, though, was getting a little bit too close for comfort. And this was like a must-win, essentially. They had to win the division. The following week, they had to win that game too, right? So it was all down to the wire. And for some reason, for a game that was a blowout in the last 8 minutes, I think, it got pretty close. I mean, it went down to a onside kick. And the Dolphins, dude, that was like, for an unsuccessful kick, that looked like one of the best onside kicks I've seen.
It was well executed, but it was before. Actually, no. This was the first time I remember seeing the Patriots do their patented onside kick recover, where they have all the guys on the side, but everybody except for one goes and blocks, and then the one guy, the hands guy, has to catch it.
Oh, it's genius.
But
hands guy, it's Fred Coleman.
Fred Coleman, right? Who has had
the big play against the Jets.
His only catch. And this was his only other play of the season. And he caught it and he got lit the fuck up.
He took
by the backup like defensive end or something like that. Some huge dude had a running start and just crushed him.
You think they would have put Patrick Catch back there for the hands team?
Oh,
I don't know. We'll revisit him in 2005. Believe me.
Mike's got thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so back to the rules change. What do you guys think of that? Instead of the onside kick, doing that 4th and 17.
I'm fine with it because at this point nobody recovers onside
I know
kicks
it's kind
anymore.
of a lame thing.
4th and
Yeah, they've
17.
changed the rules. I'm fine with it. Yeah,
I think it's cool.
it's better than what it is now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
fuck
because
it.
how many games can you remember, like against the Saints or against Cleveland most recently, where the Patriots recovered it, and it's a really exciting thing. Yeah, and like Andy said, after the rules changes, like it doesn't happen anymore. It's lame. It's lame.
Yeah. So I read one like stipulation to the rule that I thought was brilliant too. Of like, you don't want it to be like a pass interference gives you the first down, so treat the 17-yard line to gain as like an end zone. So if there's a penalty beyond it, you just get one play from like a 4th and 1 from that spot.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I see.
Still got to convert it, but
Yeah.
it gives you a second chance.
Right. So you can't just do the Joe Flacco huck it down, try to get down to the 1-yard line or pass interference.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah, I think it's not bad.
Good, because I've seen people hate on it. I'm like, you guys are just lame if you don't want that rule.
Dude, I like, especially most of the games, right, are not for the Patriots, right? So if you just happen to be watching a game and you have no vested interest, I just want to see something fun and exciting. It's pretty lame when like the anticipation builds and the announcer's trying to make it exciting and then it like kind of just patters out of bounds or into somebody's hands. I'm like, it's lame.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, all right. So, I mean, that ends the game. Patriots recover the onside kick, which starts a scuffle, but Pats end up being able to kneel it at the end, and Belichick gets... What?
We're going to the playoffs.
It wasn't actually official.
yeah, it wasn't guaranteed yet.
But
They have their bye week next week in week 16.
But, yeah, well, because this game was played on the Saturday, and the two other games that mattered were on the Sunday. And I think if either the the Jets or the Ravens lost, the Patriots would be in the playoffs. But the Jets beat the Colts, and the Ravens beat the Bengals, so it didn't happen. They had one more week. But regardless, Belichick still got his Gatorade bath at the end of the game.
He did. And it was a little smile on his face again before he sold his soul. So
he was excited, yeah, giving people bear hugs.
Yep,
guys, I feel like we're making the playoffs here. Like I didn't think we'd last 16 weeks.
I'm with you.
That's a fair point.
So I guess the question is, where is my Gatorade bath?
I think it's potentially in the wine episode, which we'll address later if we get to it.
Yeah, that's still on the table. We're figuring out the specifics of that.
Right. But yeah, no, you're right, man. I mean, it's been a pleasure connecting with you guys again. It was a good idea, Andy, to talk about the Pats and connect with you guys because life happens and it's tough to get in touch. So it was a good idea.
You're making it sound like this is the last episode. We still have one more regular season game left.
Well, we're entering the bye week, man. You know,
that's fair enough. Yeah,
mentally prepping.
Oh, good Lord! All right, so let's do football, not football. Do you have any?
I do have a few, man, and some of them I think that they're throwing it up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, they're new on the scene for us. Haven't heard from them yet.
Right, and there's a couple like similar ones, but the way that they word it, I'm just like, come on, guys, I know what this is at this point, but you're just making it hard on me.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, first one. What was that?
Greg's primed and ready.
All right, yeah. All right, so I don't know if you guys picked up on some of these, but
I doubt it.
All right. Charlie Weiss, the offensive. So they're talking about Brady here. Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator. He says he brought me in his office and he gave me a tongue lashing. So it kind of snapped him out of everything, and I think Tom Brady feels good because of it. That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, what is a tongue lashing?
I don't know.
Guy? Can we Google that?
What is a tongue lashing?
Yeah,
what's a tongue lashing? Because he says he gets a tongue lashing, and then all of a sudden he felt like really good.
You want me to give you the ASMR version of what Google's saying here?
ASMR?
Okay.
Is that the whispering stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
What the
Fuck was that?
What the fuck?
What Google said.
Did you have it like queued up too, Greg?
Yeah. You hear it?
Yeah, what?
What the fuck?
What was that? Was that you making that noise?
Oh, it was Google, dude. Snapchat.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can we hear it again?
Yeah.
So football or not football?
Do it.
Wait,
Give it to
can
us
we hear it
again
one
because
more
I think we need to hear it one more time.
No.
Yeah.
Did it.
See, I had a different experience when I Googled tongue lashing, personally.
Fine.
The definition here is that it's a noun, is a loud or severe scolding. So I don't. But after Greg's experience that he shared with us, I don't know who to believe. So I think this is a gray area.
Be 2 words, tongue lashing, or 1?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, I think it is too.
It looks hyphenated to me.
Ooh.
I mean, if that's not gray area, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I think you're right though, because Greg's findings is very persuasive.
It's overwhelming.
that was great. Thank you for looking that up. I appreciate that.
It's something.
That guy's full.
Holy shit.
All right. Well, next one. And I get what this is, I think, but I think that there was a little like weird tinge about the referee that they were talking about. But one of the announcers said a referee would like to look at it from every angle.
Oh, girl.
Right.
Was he under that hood thing too when he was talking about him?
I think so.
I've always wondered what they're looking at under there because when they come out, they're rarely talking about what they were showing on the TV.
Right. So they get their own angles, right? Like not what we see.
I guess, but own angles of what?
Of it.
What?
Look at. I don't
Greg,
know.
I don't know if I want you to Google this anymore. I'm a little scarred by the last fact check, to be completely honest. So we're just going to put this in the football one and move on.
All right. Yeah, I think so.
I think they might be talking about different angles of the play.
Yeah, all the different camera angles that they've captured, you know.
Okay.
All the secret cameras that they have, especially in Foxborough Stadium. There's probably a lot of secret cameras, right, Greg?
That's right.
Fucking hater.
It is a fact though. I've been there and I've seen a few of them, but that's nor here nor there.
Okay.
Side note though, the XFL, it's interesting that they're like trying to do another different thing where it's like full transparency. You can see what the referee sees. You can they'll show a coach.
Conversation.
Yeah, they'll show a freaking coach say a play, and then they'll show what that play is right after. I'm like, isn't that the epitome of like sign stealing or whatever?
Kind of, yeah.
So what was that?
You guys want to get into some sign stealing?
I'm
really
doing whatever it takes to win. I mean, look, the Red Sox, they probably stole some signs, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Steve, thoughts?
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Oh, classic Pats fan.
Bro, everybody's doing it.
Patriots and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
asterisk.
I condone it.
Yeah, me too. But I'm also a huge fan of all the Astros players getting beamed every time they go up to the plate too. That's the best.
That was
That
a
is
test
pretty good.
because I wanted to test your homerism of if you get like pissed when people say the Patriots cheated and then you get like you judge other franchises for cheating, then you're not being consistent.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? I've heard Pats fans like rag on Houston. It's like, dude, come on.
Dude, I think that shit's funny. If you could get away with it for that long, I mean, that's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
And the trash can thing was genius.
Dude, it's genius.
Because nobody recognized it was a trash can that was doing it.
You know what I think it's funny about the whole thing? They do not give a fuck.
They really don't.
If you see them in interviews, they don't give a shit. And it's
Yeah,
funny.
like the apology that they keep come out and giving, be like, well, I'm sorry you're offended. Like, oh, nicely done.
Dude, my favorite part is the Yankees, man. They just keep whining about how they lost 2 years in a row to them or to the Red Sox, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, and there's also like so much smoke around the fact that like all these former Astros, like people that were involved in it when they were in Houston, are on the Yankees as well. It's like I don't know how clean you are, so maybe stop throwing those rocks in that glass house of yours.
Yeah. Remember the song? Remember Doug Funny?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember his song "Banging on a Trash Can"?
Oh yeah.
Every time I hear about it, I think of that song.
Strumming on a street lamp.
That should be every other like opponent's walk-up song to the
imagine
their at bat, or like as a reliever, you come out to that.
Dude, it's hilarious. I just think, like, talking about the Yankees. So let's say A-Rod, right? Mr. Steroids. He was banned from baseball, and now he's like a beloved celebrity. He's with J-Lo. We're just cutting through the 15 years of hate and just going right to that point. You know, it's it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's good for baseball.
In reality, we shouldn't cheat. It's all about the integrity of the game. This is all in jest. Okay, for those out there, I believe in organized sports. I believe in the youth of America, and let's keep every game clean. Thank you.
You know what the XFL should do? They should allow performance-enhancing drugs. And all of them.
Oh boy, I think they tried that.
Let's see what the human body can do when you just pump it full of whatever the fuck.
I think they tried that in spurts, but throughout history.
It would end up being like, what was that? Which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was it? The second one with the ooze?
Oh, yeah.
And they grew those like huge fucking monster things.
Rocksteady and Bebop.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's also called the 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Or the American Gladiators.
Oh, I love them.
See? All beloved franchises. What's the XFL waiting for?
Yeah, and if you're trying to entertain the people, like give us what we want.
Yeah, I want to see 70-yard field goals. I want to see some guy kicking a field goal from his own 30-yard line. Like, that's fucking legit.
Again, we don't condone any of this. We don't condone steroid use.
Sounds like the royal we to me right there, Mike.
The what?
That's the royal we right there. I condone all this shit.
All right. I personally, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, all right. You got any more football, not football?
All right, I do, but this one's BS because we've already talked about the hole. I already know what the hole is. But now these guys tell me that J.R. Redmond squirts through a hole. Come on.
Oh, they're playing with your mind, Mike.
No, I know. And like Steve's like brought it up where it was like we've already talked about the pocket, we've talked about the hole, but football or not football, because they're just come on.
I think at this point they know you're listening. So that I think this one is actually intentionally not football, even though because they've kind of lulled you into the football side of this,
right?
And now they're seeing how far they can take it. So I'm going to say this is not football.
Yeah, why would you need to say squirts through a hole?
I don't know. Human beings don't squirt,
right?
Well, not like that.
You scamper through a hole.
Yeah.
I've heard that squirting ain't nothing but peeing.
Oh, like
so he peed through the hole?
Are you talking about certain like videos?
That sounds uncomfortable.
Dude, I've heard that rumor too. Let's address it right on here, right now.
Stat check.
Stat check. Yeah, Google that on Kelly's work computer.
We'll just leave it at that. But I've heard those rumors as well. So.
It makes sense.
So that leads me to the next one then.
Okay.
As a linebacker, he makes it so hard. And why'd they put the "so" on there? That's what I wonder. He makes it so hard.
Yeah, that's a context one, bud. I don't know if I can help you with that.
This is what I'm saying, man. I'm getting almost frustrated because it's like they're so blatant. It's like, what are we doing here? But anyways, I
don't know, but you may be the only person to watch a 20-year-old football game and get sexually frustrated.
I'm not. Whoa! I wasn't even referring to anything sexual.
I disagree.
Oh, dude! I don't know what you're doing over there, but I'm just getting frustrated. That's it.
I'm a good tongue lashing, Mike.
Yeah. Well, now I think about it in a whole new light. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a sound I won't ever be able to unhear.
That's the point of ASMR, I think.
Well, that was pretty good. Yeah, I got to get into that ASMR thing.
Yeah, I'm all set, I think.
No,
I think we're the first like progressive ASMR Patriots podcast on the internet.
Oh, we might be the first to ever have done that. You're right.
The first sports ASMR podcast. Yeah, maybe.
Dude, we should have an ASMR segment. I don't know. Yeah. I kind of dig it.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
You know, like optimization.
Squirting ASMR? Maybe.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God. That was interesting.
It's just good. Steve peeing into a toilet. It's unraveling rapidly.
Right. Yeah, I got the last two. Let's
you've got two more of these? Fuck me.
Dude. I got two more.
All right.
One. Easy one, I think.
Fuck.
Steve's just making me laugh. All right. The penalty helps the Dolphins come out of their own end. The penalty helps the Dolphins come out of their own end.
I got nothing. Oh, actually, no. Okay. All right. I think this is football. I think their own end is probably their own end of the field, probably. They were probably backed up against the end zone. Would that make sense?
Yep, their end zone.
Oh, why did they say that? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Again, I wrote like the scenario of like the Dolphins and the penalty, but I guess I gotta like just write the context of it.
It always seems to be about context. The more details, the better.
All right. So the last one, this is about Chambers, which he was a rookie, right, this year?
Yeah.
So he was coming into his own. I thought he was doing a pretty good job when he was given an opportunity. But this comment is about him, and the announcers were saying the running back went through the middle. That made the middle open up, and Chambers fills it in. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Middle of what, I wonder?
No idea.
Maybe it's the field? I remember this play. I don't know why.
No.
Probably because I heard it and thought this might be on Football Not Football. But it was who was it? So it was Chambers and the running back, right?
Yeah.
And so they're saying that Chambers ran through the middle, I think, of the field, and he drew the coverage of the defenders, which allowed the running back to fill the middle, or was it the other way around?
I think it was the other way around.
Oh, either way. All right. So Chambers filled the middle of the field where the defenders weren't there anymore.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Ooh, we escaped.
All right. Yeah. That one was football. You remember it though.
I do. I don't know why I remember that play specifically, but I remember that commentation.
Well, thank you guys as usual.
Oh no, thank you.
I mean, this one I enjoyed this one thoroughly. So thank you.
We learned a lot.
Can I do my best?
Do your what? Yeah. We'll do best and worst now, Greg. If you want to go first.
All right. I'm just gonna. I didn't have any, but while Mike was finishing his, I just started Googling Doug. My best is Skeeter Valentine.
I love him.
Doug's best.
He was blue, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah. And obviously my worst is Roger Klotz.
Why? Because he looks Azorian? Dude, you're cut off, man.
He's green.
You're really messed up.
Orange hair.
What color should we make this guy? Because he's the bad guy. And they're like, let's just go green to be safe.
That was a great show, though.
That's right. He was great.
I don't know. I lost all respect for that show after the one episode where he tells Doug that he burned down the science building, and instead of like walking over and verifying it, he's like, now I have to go on the run.
Yeah. You've held that opinion for a while because I've heard you say that before, Steve.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
I have opinions like that about certain TV shows as well.
Yeah.
I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've got some hot takes like that. All right, Steve, let's hear your best and worst. Preferably from the football game and not Doug Funny, but do you?
Yeah, well, we already covered the Doug Funny. The best was Patrick Ketch's touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
how Tom Brady was just flipping out.
That was one of my best. You absolutely right.
The commentators are like, wow, look how crazy Brady is right now. He was just.
When was the last time you saw that like headbutting Brady pop up?
Yeah, I feel like maybe this last year you didn't really get a lot of that out of him.
Right.
He's too old. I think he had one on some of the rookies' first scores. He usually does.
Try to like pump him up.
What it was. That was Patrick's first touchdown.
Yeah.
Of his career.
His only touchdown of his career, maybe? I'll stat check that while you do your burst.
No, dude. He stuck around the Pats for a while.
Yeah, he was around. I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of worse. I guess the first roughing the passer call of the year.
Yeah, that was bad.
Like that crazy.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean,
Yeah,
in today's day and age, it's still a penalty, but like I've seen some absolutely brutal hits.
I don't even know if it would be though. He hit him and then just like finished the hit to the ground.
Yeah, in today's day and age, it definitely would be. It'd be like the weight rule, whatever it is.
But he didn't even. It was just like a clean tackle. He put his helmet in his chest and just like tackled him.
Yeah, he landed on top of him. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah,
true.
But like, there's a crackback block on one of Troy Brown's reverses that was absolutely brutal that they didn't call. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yeah.
And another best was career high rushing yards for Antoine on one leg.
Yeah. So he got injured like what, halfway through the second quarter or something? They said, I think I wrote it down. It was a contusion on his lower leg. And even with that, like he would limp after every play and like come off after every run he had.
He's still taking it to him.
And he ran for 118 yards in the first half. And he finished with, what was it, like 160 or something like that? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like 158, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was an absolute animal in this game.
Yeah, I think Brady only like cleared 100 yards passing. So,
yeah, I think they had more rushing yards and passing yards in this game, I read. So, but just to fact check that, that was Patrick Pass's only touchdown catch of his career.
No kidding. Wow.
Yep. Oh, wait. Oh, he had one in the playoffs, so he has one more.
Dude, where'd Greg go?
2004. Before his infamous 2005, Mike. So,
oh, wow. All right.
We've got a few Patrick Pass highlights to look forward to, apparently.
I'm digging it.
Do you think the announcers are going to make the same joke?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That'd be hilarious.
100%. All right, Mike, your best and worst.
All right, so I was going to say headbutting Brady, but that's been said. So I will go with one is like kind of an uneventful play, but like I thought it was awesome. But Brady got blasted. He was blindsided. And then somehow he lost the football and it like magically bounced into his hands again, like some golden moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
That was the cornerback coming off the edge, and you just had like a free run at Tom Brady's back. He didn't even see him, feel him, nothing.
But somehow it was like right there. What was that?
Matt Light just didn't even try to block him.
Right.
Didn't even see him, yeah.
But I thought that was cool because he managed to have the wherewithal to secure it, even though he got killed. And it's my other top moment was Belichick almost skipping on the field at the end of the game. I mean, if you look back, he's like kind of frolicking almost.
Yeah, he was literally like running up to, I think it was Matt Light or one of the offensive linemen, like giving him a huge hug, and then ran over to Brady and gave him a hug so hard he almost knocked his helmet off. Like he was excited.
Yeah. So, and then the worst I touched on was seeing that Brady reception, because it did remind me of the Super Bowl. And I can't help but think that maybe if one play went the other way, the Pats would have had 3 in a row, the elusive 3 in a row.
It's true. That's true.
So it's heartbreaking.
That's fair enough.
And for those of you that aren't Pats fans and are listening for some reason, I understand that it sounds shitty that I just said that.
But those are to be expected when you're listening to the Patriots Dynasty podcast, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Greg has to say. All right.
Well, I don't know where Greg went, but if I was him, I would say, well, there's a good 10 years where the Pats didn't quite make it happen, but we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, all right, I guess Greg is done. All right, my best and worst. My best, I had a couple. They're kind of two people. Troy Brown, of course. he had a reverse that he ran. It was on the second play from scrimmage, and he was running to the right, and it just fell apart. So he did what he does and actually cut it back again the other way. And as Steve Brown alluded to earlier, he was trying to get around the edge and wasn't going to make it because there was like a backside defensive lineman or something until Jermaine Wiggins came to the rescue and absolutely just lit some dude up from the side. And I'm pretty sure Troy Brown got the first down, or he got 9 yards on a first and 10, something like that, as he does. It's just what he does. So
he had a hell of a year. Like, I know we've talked about it, but he was at this point vying for most receptions in a season by a Pats player.
He broke in this game. He broke Terry Glenn's record for receptions by a receiver, I think.
Right, which is
91st, yeah. And then he needed a couple more to break Ben Coates' record of 96, I think it was.
So I don't remember if he did or not. So
did you hear the commentators talk about his eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the poor guy.
Well,
shades of Rashay Caldwell.
Oh, I missed that one.
Like, I don't know if he's scared or if he's just seeing the field really well or something like that.
Yeah.
Poor guy. And he does run. When he runs, he looks like he's scared. But
oh yeah, his eyes are so huge.
Yeah.
Wait, did he ever make a Pro Bowl? Does anybody know?
I feel like he was in the running for the Pro Bowl this year.
Right. But if the guy can't make it with like almost 100 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and being a master on punt returning, which I know that they're separate categories, but I don't think he did.
He did make it this year. This was the only year he made the Pro Bowl.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Good for him.
Yeah.
Who's got the biggest eyes in Patriots history? Brown,
Caldwell. Oh, yeah.
What about Hogan?
Oh, he's a dark horse.
Yeah.
Hogan gets crazy eyes.
He sure does.
But I think like that was like Caldwell's thing.
Yeah, because Caldwell always had them. That was the thing.
Dude, but isn't that, I've always been told that it's like, that could be a thyroid issue. So it concerns me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Greg, could you stat check that, please?
Please don't.
And if it's wrong, can we scrap that from the
I'm terrified of these stat checks now.
What do you want me to put in Google?
I don't know.
How about
bug thyroid?
Yes.
ASMR thyroid?
Eyes thyroid issue.
ASMR.
No,
you
please.
are correct, Mike.
Oh.
The most common of bulging eyes is hyperthyroidism.
That's
wow.
The thyroid gland.
All right.
So that's my only concern, because I know it becomes a thing, but I hope he's okay.
We're not trying to name people here.
I think when we get to that era, we'll have to do a deep dive into Rashay Caldwell, because I feel like he's led an interesting life.
Well, it's definitely most recently been interesting. And I alluded to it.
Yeah, selling Molly.
Yeah,
he was in that insurance scheme.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, with Joe Horn.
Yeah. He was a lookout, we said.
Oh, see?
Oh, that's always. I'm just repeating what was said in earlier podcasts.
Andy, I don't know.
But speaking of Troy Brown's record, he was asked before the game what he thought about it, and so the quote was, "With 90 receptions entering this very important game Saturday, Brown needed one more catch to pass Terry Glenn's 90 catches in 96 for the second highest season reception total, and he needed 7 to break the all-time record of 96 set by Ben Coates." Asked about his possible feat, Brown said, "What's the record for the most wins? Can we get it? I guess we can't do it this year, but we can tie it, right?"
I didn't understand that, though. Like,
always a team player.
Yeah, that's all he just wants to win.
Yeah.
But like, what does that mean, though? Like, can what was that last bit that he said? Like, we can get the most wins, right?
Yeah. What's the record for the most wins? I think in the season for the Patriots. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get it out of context.
A me statistic and turned it into a we statistic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a kiss.
Team-wise,
nice.
That's interesting. What was the most wins in team history? Do we know that?
Are we really going to go down this road?
Yeah.
Nope.
Right?
Okay. Because I think we all know it's 18.
No, I mean at that point.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Right.
I'm not looking that up.
Stat
right.
check.
Fair enough.
No, fuck it. I'm looking it up.
I looked it up. It's 12.
Oh shit. All right.
Was
In
it
this
even
day and age,
12?
like, the Patriots don't go 12-4. Everyone's losing their shit.
I know.
I think it may be 11.
It might be 11 because they were 11-5.
It was 11,
winning
yeah.
out.
96, they went 11-5. 86 and 85 when they won the Super Bowls, they were both 11-5.
Wow, that's
11-5
crazy.
and 78. They did not have many double-digit win seasons, just in general.
Steve's right
back in the
though.
day.
It's very different nowadays.
Well, haven't we
is.
won 11 straight games for like 20 years?
I think you might be right.
No, next
Every year except 2002.
Yeah.
Since, 2002 was the last time the Patriots didn't win double-digit games.
It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, so my other best was to Bucky Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And how bone-rattling his hits were, because he forced 2 fumbles just on receivers who actually caught the ball
Mm.
and turned and met him. And it was like a car crash. And he just, especially the first one, he hit the guy and the guy fumbled it, but it was a bang play. The guy just caught the ball and he got hit. But the second one was in the fourth quarter, and it was Lamar Smith, the running back, who had run all over them back in week 3 or 4, whatever it was. And it was 1-on-1, and it was like literally on like the 1 or 2 yard line. And he hit to Bucky Jones, and it looked like he hit a parked car. Because he hit him and he just stopped. Like all his momentum stopped except for the football. And he just went flat as a board and fell the fuck over. And it was such a like old school Patriots hit that you don't see that anymore because nobody does it.
Mhm.
But to Bucky Jones, all-time name Patriot on the all-time name list. To Bucky Jones.
Andy Katzenmoyer.
Yeah, also a good one. Ferret Collins. But my worst was, I don't know if you guys saw this. It was coming back from commercial. And it was, because this was December 22nd, I think, was this game. So it was a couple days before Christmas. So they're doing all sorts of Christmas stuff. And they had all the Dolphins players and Dave Wanstatt wishing everybody a Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if it was the recording or what, but Dave Wanstatt, his voice sounds exactly like the big dude from Mike and Molly. You know, the actor.
Oh
he has
yeah.
a weirdly like higher pitched voice for a big dude.
I didn't write it down because I figured out whatever, but I had the same thought. I was like, whoa, whatever.
That voice doesn't match.
Right. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Might have been the recording. I don't know.
Yeah, so I maybe we'll have to look up some Dave Wanstatt videos.
Dave
I'm
wants that ASMR.
No. All right, so I think we've survived yet another episode, and before Gregory decides to bring us down a dark I think we should
Also
probably
known
call this
as, a gap. I mean, it's part of a pocket, I guess. What else have we learned?
Yeah, before Greg squirts us through a dark hole.
Thank you.
We'll bring this mercifully to an end. So next week is technically a bye week for the Patriots. I think they probably will figure out if they are in the playoffs, depending on some other results, maybe. I don't know. But after that, it will be heading to Carolina. North Carolina, Greg? South Carolina? Where's the Carolina Panthers located? North Carolina. Come on and rise up. To face the 1-14 Carolina Panthers, who they're supposed to play week 2 until 9/11 happened. So maybe we'll revisit that conversation because we all know how Mike feels about it.
How do I feel about it?
We already know. But we'll get into it in depth.
This
next
sounds
episode.
like you're twisting my words, my friend.
I'm not twisting anything. I'm not putting any words in your mouth. We're just going to revisit that when we get there.
You're going to see a different me moving forward, believe me.
Okay. I can't even wait. So until then, thank you for joining us and thank you for lasting this long. This has been the Patriots Dynasty podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Dianora.
Bye.